Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to go over a theory that I have regarding Star Wars Tales of the Jedi, the new animated show coming out October 26th. Now, beyond all the cool stuff that we got to see with Ahsoka and Dooku, the show looks really promising, and to be honest, I'm the most excited for this show than I am for any other Star Wars project that we have coming out so far. I think Lucasfilm's animation team, being led by Dave Filoni, never misses, and I think that they really know how to make a great story. Now, one thing I noticed in particular that I don't see a lot of people talking about is the quick scene where Dooku is fighting Yaddle. Now, I don't think this is a training sequence, and I'll tell you why. If we look in the background, we have the same jagged mouth entrance that we have with Dooku entering the same place in Attack of the Clones to meet Darth Sidious. Now, this place is called the Works. In Legends, and I guess in canon, this is where Sidious would take his apprentices to do all of his secret training. So he would take Maul here to do secret training, he would take Dooku here to have secret conversations, and it was his place in this industrial district on Coruscant that no one would really go to, let alone would they think that a Sith Lord is being trained here. Now, what I think is happening here is that Yaddle catches on to Count Dooku. And somewhere in between episode 1 and 2, we get Yaddle following Dooku to this place, to the Works. Now, Dooku may be going here to have a secret meeting with Darth Sidious. In Legends, Dooku was going to have meetings with Darth Sidious, and eventually he turned to the dark side and followed Sidious's ways and Sidious's teachings. So what I'm thinking is happening here is that Yaddle actually follows Dooku, maybe not even knowing that Dooku is here or that she's following Dooku, but ends up finding out that what the hell are you doing here? And when the jig is up, they have to fight to the death. Now, Dooku still has his blue lightsaber, which means that he's still a Jedi, and it means he hasn't fully converted yet to Sidious's ways. However, he is flirting with the idea of turning to the dark side, and he has already grown very disillusioned with the Jedi Order, the Jedi Council, and the way of the Jedi. So I believe what is going to happen is that they will fight, and Dooku, being the amazing lightsaber duelist that he is, having been known in the galaxy as being one of the best duelists ever, and having been trained by Yoda himself. If you didn't know, Yoda was Dooku's master. I think he's going to kill Yaddle. And that's where this scene comes in during the funeral scene we would get in the trailer, where Mace Windu and all the other Jedi are looking sad, they're looking down, and it's essentially just a reenactment scene of episode 1 where Qui-Gon's funeral is happening and he has died from Darth Maul. Now, timeline-wise, I think this is sometime during episode 1, just before the end, because by the time Qui-Gon dies, Dooku is already far gone and he's in the dark side. So all of this has to happen while Anakin is being brought to the Jedi Temple. Somewhere around there, I think, because we just don't see Yaddle anymore near the end of the film. Now, this completely changes Legends. In Legends, and I made a video about this many years ago, Yaddle actually sacrificed herself to save Anakin. She hugged a bomb and allowed it to infiltrate her cells and basically absorbed its power. And in return dying, however, she was able to save Anakin and the city. So this definitely goes against what was pre-existing canon back in the day, which was Legends, Expanded Universe. And I'm fine with it because I think her death, while it was interesting and established before, I think this is probably going to be a little more meaningful, that her death comes from Count Dooku and it's all part of his turn to the dark side and his betrayal of the Jedi in a sense. Now, the rest of the show is going to cover Dooku's turn, his previous missions with Qui-Gon Jinn, and we'll get to see his overall fall to the dark side and his complete loss of trust in the Jedi Council. And what I found funny always, or interesting rather, was that Count Dooku, much like Qui-Gon Jinn, who was trained by Count Dooku, were very similar in that sense, where they both didn't really agree with the Jedi Council. Now, Dooku took it one step further, of course, and actually went to the dark side, but Qui-Gon was a Jedi Master, however, he was not on the Jedi Council, and it's simply because he just didn't really follow the rules. He was more of a maverick, he did his own thing. He followed the will of the Force, and he didn't follow politics like the Jedi were becoming so blindly absorbed by. And this is something that Dooku had seen much earlier, before Qui-Gon's time. And then as he was training Qui-Gon, he was noticing the Jedi were just becoming very, very detached from the Force and becoming more and more engulfed and manipulated by politics. Now, when Dooku turned to the dark side, he was never really a true evil guy. He just felt that the Jedi were the ones that were killing themselves, and they were sending their own men and women out on missions to essentially die and become meat shields for politics, for things that had nothing to do with what being a Jedi was all about. And this is one of the main things that Dooku was really against, because he felt the Jedi were much more than just being soldiers and errand boys of political games. So when Sidious gave him this opportunity, Dooku took it, and he thought the Jedi were the bad guys. He thought the Jedi were no longer what they had first intended to be maybe thousands of years ago. And so Count Dooku became Darth Tyrannus. Now, I think in this show, we're also going to see him bleed his crystal red, which is going to be the first time that we will ever see that in live action or animated or any form in Star Wars. Previously, with George Lucas' Star Wars, crystals for the Sith were synthetic. So, for example, how Maul created his crystal was he would put crystals inside of a furnace and he would meditate. Well, not meditate. Sith don't meditate. He would pour his anger and hatred and energy and dark side emotions into the crystal as it was baking in the fire. And when it was done, the red crystal would come out and he would have this very powerful Sith crystal. Now, Sith crystals were known to be more powerful than Jedi crystals for this very reason, but the fact that they were synthetic, I always thought was kind of interesting. Now, of course, with the new canon, things are different in the sense that a crystal is just a crystal, and it depends on the user who will change the color of the crystal based on their abilities and their personality. And of course, if they are in the dark side, then they will pour their hatred into the crystal, hence making the crystal bleed and turning it red. Now, this is also why Kylo Ren's crystal was fluttering and spitting fire, was because it was cracked. I'm really looking forward to this new show. I think it's going to be really promising, and I hope that we're going to be getting a season 2, because with something like this that can go back in time and focus on Count Dooku, his training with Yoda, I mean, who knows how far back it could go. It could even show some flashbacks of Count Dooku, Sifo Dyas, and Yoda when they were kids being trained by the masters. If you haven't read or listened to the book Dooku Jedi Lost, I highly recommend it before this show comes out. Dooku is one of the most underrated Jedi out there, and I think amongst normie Star Wars fans, they're going to realize that he is actually a really cool dude. He's really smart, he's really talented, and he's extremely powerful in the Force, and above all, he is the best with a lightsaber. Now, if you didn't know, Sir Christopher Lee, who plays Count Dooku, was actually a world champion fencer. So all of his moves, all of his swordsman abilities, and his dueling in the movies were really bolstered by his previous ability to use a sword. He was a master swordsman in real life and on screen. Anyways, I think Count Dooku is going to kill Yaddle, and I think that that's going to be his final turn to the dark side, because he's going to have to cover it up, and I don't think he's going to be able to. So he's probably just going to be like, well, we went on a mission somewhere and she died, or he's just going to find her, or perhaps put her somewhere where the Jedi will find her. I wonder if Yoda will ever have any suspicions. I wonder if any of the other Jedi will ever have suspicions, or perhaps if they do, Dooku will go after them too. Thanks for watching today's video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope it gave you a little bit of info on Dooku, as well as my theory regarding him killing Yaddle. As always, please let me know what you think down in the comments below. Leave a like on this video if you enjoyed it, if you had a good time, and I'll see you in the next one. Until then, remember, the Force will be with you always.